I am the founder of To Cure Rose Foundation, co-founder of Everloom Bio, and founder and CEO of Chrysalis Genetics. And I'll explain why there's three entities through this story. I want to start with that I never intended to ever be here talking to you or know drug development, but it's out of the love of a father for his daughter that my life has changed and that I feel an immense amount of purpose and hope for kiddos like mine. I started as a professional musician, toured the world, had some singles on the radio, and I tell people I worked my way up to the middle of success in music. And at the height of my career, I got married and I had two beautiful girls, Weston, who is now 10, and Rose, who is 8. Rose was born differently. She would choke on her food. I would have to give her enemas every week. And when she would try to walk, she would fall flat on her face without putting her arms in front of her and just bust her nose open. She could say 3 words, mom, dad, and outside. When she lost her ability to talk, that's when we knew something was very, very wrong. And the current tests that the doctors were doing weren't working. So we had this diagnostic odyssey like all of the families do. And so I did some research and found that we could do a whole exome sequence. Back then it was $10,000. Now it's so much cheaper. And I brought that, I did a whole exome on Rosie and brought that to the pediatric neurologist. And he said, Casey, your daughter has a rare genetic disease. There is no cure. There's nothing we can do. Good luck. And that felt like a death sentence. What I didn't know was all of the hope that was going to come next after we sort of dealt with this grief. But before I get into that part of the story, I'd like for you to meet Rosie. This is Rose McPherson through the eyes of her big sister, Weston. This is Rose. She just turned 6.
Hi, Rose. How are you today?
Rose lost her words around a year and a half old.
Okay.
And she will, and so she wants something right now, and I'm not sure what it is.
To live with Rosie, it's kind of hard because she likes to get in trouble a lot, and she just doesn't know how to express it because she doesn't mean to do it. It's just like asking if you can play with something, but in her way. So when we do this, I never know what she's thinking. Come sit. But normally, she just turned 6, so you would be like, Dad, I want to play with the cars, or I want to play with the toys. She acts like a baby. She's already 6. She's almost my age. And she's playing with baby toys, seriously. She shouldn't be doing that. She should be playing with friends, and it's probably hard for her to do that because she can't speak. It's hard for her to make friends because she wants to play with people, but she just doesn't know how.
I'm grateful that she does like to be loved,
I've always wanted to have a friend that always would be there with me, but it's kind of hard because she can't talk. And it's kind of like we're twins, but she's just 1 age smaller. She's been learning sign language. She's been trying to go up the stairs by herself, and she's been trying to do really hard things for her. So I think that it's really she's really strong and brave.
Brave. Could I be brave like Rose? That was the question I was faced after this diagnosis. So I, probably met with hundreds and hundreds of academic researchers, biotech executives, and began to learn drug development, and would meet with Yael and Imran and Terry and maybe some of you out there. And I learned something incredible, that this was not necessarily a science problem for many of these diseases like Rose's. It was a business model and a system and a scale problem and a regulatory problem for these smaller cohorts of patients. But we had, at our fingertips, this incredible technology that never existed before. And so I started To Cure Rose Foundation to raise money to develop a treatment for Rose's disease, with the hope that maybe we could develop treatments for others. The first step in this process was to find a lab to do this work. And I tried an academic institution, and there I found issues with the current model there. It's great if you're a pharma company and you've got millions of dollars to spend, but as a small entity in a small disease, the tech transfer, sort of SRA typical agreements there, put a lot of power in the academic hands. And so I watched a lot of suffering families spend money on creating drugs that seem successful, at least preclinically, and then they get stuck, either held ransom for milestone payments at an academic institution, or they get licensed to a pharmaceutical company that ends up just shelving them. And so the current CSO of To Cure Rose Foundation, he and I imagined a different model than that. And so we imagined a lab that families could do drug development in and retain the intellectual property rights. And fortuitously, we found some money and a team to start Everloom Bio. Everloom Bio is the first rare disease CRO for families, where we can do whatever experiment we need to do to get closer to a treatment. And led now by Rodney Bowling, who's an incredible drug developer. And in that place, we created Rose's treatment, which is an antisense oligonucleotide, or an ASO. It's an RNA therapeutic that has shown some significant impact for neurodevelopmental and neurodegenerative diseases. And we developed the drug in there. The foundation retained the intellectual property rights. And after we got to that point, we also worked with Jackson Labs to do animal models so we can treat these mice and show efficacy. And that's been a really great relationship. So now we're at this point where we have a preclinical drug, an asset, and needs millions or more, right, to take it through regulatory. So I started Chrysalis Genetics just late last year to raise investment dollars to take this through clinical trial and commercialize the drug. There's a lot of innovation that we need to do to make this process cheaper and faster and scalable. I look forward to hearing some of your collaborations and some of your ideas as you guys walk through this journey of drug development for these rare diseases. I thank you for everything that you all do, and send you virtual hugs, and Yael and Imran and Terry, go get them. So thank you.